Hi, my name is Marco Bronzini. I am a graduate of the Royal Academy of Arts in London, England. Welcome to my YouTube channel, Marco Bronzini Art School and Studio. Today we're going to be dealing with the Impressionist landscape. It's day 3. So these are the colors I'll be using today for day 3 of the Impressionist landscape that's behind me. I have ultramarine blue, I have manganese, you can also use cerulean, they're close cousins, cad orange, cad yellow light, raw sienna, viridian, which is a nice blue-green, cinnabar green light, which I use from time to time, and this is permanent rose. You can also use alizarin crimson. They're very similar. So we're going to begin the painting now. So as a reminder, this is a landscape we are dealing with, a lovely scene in the Luberon Hills in the south of France with white cherry blossoms and a little village at the back. It's very pretty. Okay, I forgot to mention the color, titanium white as well, which is nice. All right, so we're going to begin. This is day 3. Remember, an Impressionist painting, so there are no details. You want to put just the essential elements without, adding things, bits and pieces maybe. I mean, it is a painting. We're not doing a photograph from a photograph. But an Impressionist is key word, giving an impression of something. All right, so I'm going to begin with that tree in front. And remember, we always deal all at the same time. We deal with the sky, the trees, the houses, the foreground, all together. We're bringing the painting out all at the same time. We don't do a sky and then glue trees on top of it or other things like that. We always do things at the same time, bring the painting out all at the same time. Okay? All right, let's begin. Some of those branches in there. And if you recall what I said in the previous video, day 2, the branches are just little bits of paint like that. And we don't draw those perfect little branches, right? Just a few little touches of colors. That's all that is. Again, giving an impression. Again, don't overmix your colors and don't mix them with a palette knife. Mix with a brush and mix the colors as needed. There's no point mixing up a bunch of colors and then wonder where am I going to put them. That's a waste of paint and a waste of time. So mix as needed, no more, no less. And don't overmix. And I mentioned in the previous video as well, mix at least 3 colors together. Get the complexity of the color coming out that way. Okay, don't just mix 2 colors. At least have a third one, even a fourth one is fine. Get some of the blossom going. So, unless you're doing abstract, nothing is pure white and nothing is pure black. In abstract, yes, it's acceptable, and we'll deal with abstract on another video. But today we're dealing with Impressionist painting and figurative painting. So there's white blossom you're seeing here. They are white, but they're not really white. There's blue in it, there's pink, there's a bit of green, there's a lot of different colors in there. It's not pure white. It never is. Reflective light colors. There's colors reflecting all over the place. In fact, between the trees right there, they almost appear blue, which is very nice. And notice I don't dab the canvas. I don't do this, just making paint marks. random paint marks. I try to create the shape of the tree, even though there's not much of it. There's still some shapes in there. Okay, there's things going on in there, which are very nice. All right, now I'm going to deal with the blossom in front, on the tree that's in front. I'm going to start adding some things on top of that. This is so much fun. I used to do landscapes when I first started painting. Back in the days, I used to go out every day. I used to do a painting in the morning with the morning light, and a painting in the afternoon with the afternoon light. It was a great time. Very great time. There, I think that's looking pretty good. Now we're going to go back and add other things in there. I'm going to start working on a little bit more in the foreground now. Now it's a little greener in the foreground, so we're going to do a little bit more right in here, a little bit more of the green in there. So essentially this is, in this corner of the painting, really still day one, 1.5. So we're just blocking again, and then we'll go back later on and add some things in there. The raw sienna, right at this color here, this is an essential color. Some people like yellow ochre. I like raw sienna better. This is an essential color in landscape, in figurative landscape. The world is very yellow. We live in a very yellow world, but it's not, it's not an electric yellow. And I think this color, the raw sienna, really knocks down everything very nicely. Knocks down the color. Running the danger to come up with an electric color, or out of the tube, which is the worst. Never, ever, ever use a color out of the tube. That is a sin. It really is. All right, we're going to do some distance in there, and because distance is a cooler color, I'm putting blue in the value right here. I'm going to put it right in there, right in here, right against that path right there, and give it that nice distance back in there. There. Blossom right against that. There. All right, now back in the sky for a little bit, because that's what we do. So the ultramarine, the cerulean or manganese in this case, it's fine. And this is the titanium white again, titanium white, sorry. And I'm going to put a little bit of the sienna in there, just to give it some nice warmish color. And I'm going to put it down in here. And I'm painting in between the branches, like this. Don't worry if you make a mess, you can always come back and cut in. Oil paint is very forgiving, very forgiving. It's a wonderful thing. The sky is usually darker at the top. So we're going to add a little bit more of the cerulean at the top. Give it a little bit more of a depth up there. manganese, cerium, I mean manganese, but it's the same. They're very close in colors, in value. All right, we're going to take a little break now so I can put more colors on the palette. If you notice, the way I paint the sky is exactly the same way I painted the foreground or the trees. There's not a special technique for sky, a special technique for grass, etc., etc. It's just so, just apply the paint as thickly and as broadly as you can. And then whatever comes, that will be your technique, nobody else's. Everybody's different. Okay, so you can do whatever you want. Just apply the paint. There's no the different thing. We're going to apply the paint differently because there's a sky. That is a big mistake to think that. All right, here I'll be a little bit more careful because I'm cutting down the tree here, but I don't mind cutting into it. It's no big deal. Okay, if you cover some of it, not a big deal at all. We can always come back and add. Yeah. So lots of colors in there to create the impression of depth in the sky. All right, now we're going to go back into the distance in here. And again, the cool colors go back. So we're going to put a little bit more blue. Let's see what we come up with. Oops, that's not the right color. One more blue. Let's try this one. There you go, that's better. So coming through there. Remember, cool colors go back, warm colors come forward. So anything blue will go back. And from the first layer of paint, now the paint is coming on, is going to the canvas really nicely. The second layer, third layer, it's really nice. All right, go back a little bit into the houses again. And take another brush. What we got here? No, it's no good. This one. Nice. All right. So with the buildings, the houses. Give you the impression again, what's there. Just paint marks. That's all it is, just little touches of colors. It's a nice sort of cypress back there. Some lovely cypress back there, some pretty, which outline the house really nicely. So I'm going to put those in as well. So I'm using my Viridian for that, some ultramarine, a little bit of my good friend raw sienna. Let's see what that looks like. That's going to make those houses really pop. There's a couple more in front. like some in here, right there. There. All right, let's take a little break. All right, so just took a little break here. So now we're going to return to the foreground, do a little bit more work in here, pick up some more colors in there, and we're going to let all this section here dry. For next time, we're going to do a little bit more work in that next time. But I want to give the impression that we're looking through those trees right now, which is really nice. So I'm going to build that up in here, do a little bit more work in here, and then we'll probably stop for today. Well, actually, I might just block a little bit of sky there before we leave today. There you go. That's perfect like that. So let's begin. Let's do a little bit more work in that foreground right there, because I'm not quite happy with that yet. I need to build up a little bit more. So the Viridian, the Cinnabar, the Sienna really work really well. So a little bit more paint in here, a little bit more work. I might as well finish blocking this section. Right there. And there's a nice structure there of the little road going down this way, following through there, kind of getting lost in the field right there. I really want to give that impression. So that'd be really nice. So let's do a little bit of that as well now. So it picks up in here, and then there's a bit of green right there that sort of outlines where the road is. The path, I should say, not the road. Which is rather nice. Right there, a little bit right in here. And a little bit more on the other side. And we got a nice little path going on there. Right in here. There, and then we'll return to this later. And then it follows through this like that. And then there's a yellow, sort of lovely, sort of wildflowers back there. Right in there, follows through there. Oops, there you go. That structure which follows through is very, very attractive, and you don't want to miss out on that. And again, same technique, the way I'm painting this. Mixing a few colors. The application of paint is the same here, 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 here. It's the same thing. I don't change the technique. There's not a technique to do this, a technique to do that. That is very misleading to speak about things like that. Because there's only one way to paint, that's the way you paint. All right, you make a nice purple here. Some grays back in there. So there's a lot going on in here. So right now I'm just doing some few touches of colors. Later on we're going to come back on there and add different things in order to give the final impression. But right now it's just sort of filling up all those little sections right there. Got a few more little touches of colors there. So we realize they're houses, not just sort of stones in the distance. Now they just became houses all of a sudden. A few more colors back in here to outline those trees right there, really make them pop out. All right, a few more little things on the trees in front. If you notice, I'm mixing a lot of colors for the tree trunks. There's 5 colors in there, not just 2 or 3. There are a lot of colors. And just pick out, let the weight of the brush do the work. So just a few little strokes like that. Just a few little things like this. And you see slowly the tree will come to life. Been working between. Notice the way I primed the canvas from the video number 1. The color of the canvas is really helping here. You know, you don't have to cover every little white hole that you would have had if you and primed the canvas. So it's very important to prime the canvas a nice neutral color, and it becomes part of the painting in the early stage. You don't have to worry about all these little white holes you would have to block in if the canvas was white. Makes sense, right? I think it does. Okay, here, a little bit more yellow here, and then we can leave the painting rest for next time. There. Okay, so next time will be day 4, I guess, and we'll finish up the painting. Hopefully, maybe we'll squeeze in a day 5, just a short little video, and have all these things all set in properly. But the painting has to dry now. Very important. Each stage has to dry. No rush here. This is not a race. Okay, so thank you for joining me again, and I'll see you next time. So this is the result of day 3. The canvas is all filled in very nicely. There's some nice thing going on throughout, and we'll keep building up when we return to day 4. All the colors are in place. It's just a matter of adding a few more bits and pieces. I don't like the word details, but just add a little bit more work. A good painting requires a lot of work. So we'll return to it when it's dry.